Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I probably look a little ridiculous. I feel ridiculous wearing this camera setup. But today I am going to be doing something a little bit different. I am taking apart a boat to build a boat. Now, a little bit of backstory. The boat that I'm taking apart is this 57-inch Speed Freak, and I've had it for 5 years. It was a used boat when I got it. It's pretty beat up. I think I've crashed it 3 or 4 times, and on top of that, I'm just having trouble getting the boat sorted out to do the things I want it to do. It's not as fast as I want it to be. It's too loose, meaning that it walks all over the water, and it's just sort of on the edge of out of control all the time. So I'm going to try a different boat hull. It's a Rico Racing 58-inch superboat that should be arriving tomorrow. And fingers crossed that happens. I'm going to try and test it this weekend. Today is Thursday. Tomorrow, obviously, Friday. So I got to tear this boat apart because all the stuff from this boat is going to go into the new Rico superboat. So I figured I'd do a video showing you guys the teardown and the buildup of the Rico boat. So join me for it. Okay, here's my 57-inch Speed Freak superboat. It is large, if you can't tell. So what we have to do to this boat is we're going to remove pretty much everything. So this is what's inside the boat. This is my B.H. Hansen 34cc modded race engine for this big boat. So I got to take the engine out. I got to take this T-bar and oiler out. I have to take out everything out of the radio box, which means the radio box is going to come out. And then on top of that, my fuel holder for my fuel bag, and then all the hardware off the back of the boat here. So, you know, you've got your turn fins, which this one's loose. That's good. It's always good for it. You got your rudder. That's got to come off. The drive has got to come off. And then the 4 trim tabs have to come off. And then that's all going to go onto the other boat. So and that is the motor and fuel bag out. Done. Go ahead and set all this over here. that this can all come out. Now I'm going to be changing the radio box, so I got to remove all of this a little bit later, but that's a problem for future Adam. Current Adam needs hardware out of this thing. There it is. All right, and we just need the washer. Seems to have become a permanent fixture in here. Not that I don't have replacement stuff, I just don't particularly want to replace things if I don't have to. Trying to be conscious of cost at the moment, because I will say that this is expensive. It's not cheap. New boat is about $500 with nothing in it. You know, to build a boat like this, a full boat, is about, well, if you build it yourself, depending on what engine you put in it, you know, I think that engine is $600, pipe is another $150, that's $750, $500, that's $1250, plus another $500 probably in hardware, $1750 plus electronics. You know, you might be able to do it for $2,000 by yourself if you were competent and confident in doing all this by yourself. To buy one of these ready to run, that doesn't include props, because props are between $100 and $200 a piece sometimes. You know, you can spend between $3,000 and $5,000 putting one of these boats together pretty easily. Alright guys, so it's a fresh morning. It is Friday morning, and I am on my way to pick up my brand new Rico Superboat. As discussed earlier in the video, I decided to go this route a couple of weeks ago during testing, just trying out something new, but luckily Rico Racing was able to get me a boat quickly, and he's agreed to help me assemble it a little bit so that I don't screw it up, because frankly I just don't have the experience and the knowledge, which is what we're going to gain today. All right everybody, we're back from Rico Racing. Unfortunately I wasn't able to record while we were there, but we do have this ridiculously awesome 58-inch Rico Superboat in red. It looks beautiful. I am very excited to get this thing on the water. The reason I couldn't record there is Richie from Rico Racing set this boat up, and he didn't want recorded his process, and I understand. But the boat is basically ready to go. I have to put a radio box in it that goes right here. This is the radio box. I'll show you guys that. Okay, so that's the radio box. It's more or less how it goes, somewhere in this general vicinity height. I have to set that up, put the servos in it, put the battery mount in it,
all that stuff has to go in it. Throttle servo, throttle linkage, steering linkage. All the cooling lines have to be run through here. So I do have, still a lot of work to do. But I will say Richie from Rico Racing probably saved me 10 or 12 hours of work by getting me this far. So I'm very grateful for that. And I will record myself putting the rest of the boat together, and we'll go from there. See how it looks.
All right, guys, so unfortunately, I've kind of failed you. It's been about 2 weeks since I recorded the building of the Rico Superboat, and a lot happened in that 2 weeks. I took the boat racing to Miami. I've since gone to the lake in Claremont and tested, and I didn't get really good finished shots, and I missed some of the build process. I'm doing the best that I can with the cameras that I have. I really need more cameras, and that will come with time. But for now, I figured I'll show you guys what I did get accomplished, what the finished product looks like, basically, because honestly, if you've been racing with anything, you know that anything new can't stay new for long. And of course, in the second race out in the boat ever, it died and got hit. And that's just a part of racing. It's an unfortunate part of racing, but that's life. And, you know, the reality is if you're going to go racing, if you put your boat in the water, it might not come back at all, and it probably won't come back in the exact same shape that you put it in there. That's just how it goes. Racing is rough. You're fighting for position. You're driving way out far where it's hard to see. Depth perception isn't great. So these kinds of things happen. I spoke to the guy who the incident happened with, and he's been extremely kind and generous and offered to have the boat fixed, which will be happening before the October national race. But in the meantime, I'm just going to leave the boat as it is because honestly, I need to race. I want to race. That's what I bought the boat for. And it races in the condition that it's in just fine. So it will be getting fixed, just not right away. All that to say, I'm going to show you what the final build looks like. I am going to redo the radio box. I'm not thrilled with how it came out. I know that I can do better, but for now, you'll get to see what I did, what the boat finally looks like. And this video will finally be closed out and posted. So there will be a race recap for Miami coming in about a week or two. I did a terrible job filming that race. I got a lot of really cool onboard footage. However, I was struggling with footage in my pit area because I'm just, like I said, I'm camera limited, and basically my camera was charging from being on the boats, and so therefore I wasn't wearing it, and it was very challenging for me. It was a very crazy weekend. Busy. The boat wasn't quite finished up all the way, so I had a whole day of working on the boat. Just a lot. So again, sorry for all the yapping, but here we go. All right, here it is, the Rico Superboat. So this is the back end, all complete. This is the damage I was talking about. So the boat came along this way and hit it here, nose in, and came across the top, and you can see a few nicks and marks and stuff, but you know, like I said, that's racing. It happens. I'm not upset about it. You can see all the holes that I cut in the top. This is for getting air in and out, and specifically heat out of the boat. I'm probably going to expand this some more, but for now, this is what it looks like with the top on, top off. So we've seen the fuel bag in here with the fuel bag mount, the motor. We did change pipes. We put a bigger pipe in it. I had to drill a bigger hole in the rear of the boat. This pipe just on this boat, this motor seems to work better. It's happy this way. The boat's pretty fast this way. It went 60 miles an hour in testing the other day. This is the radio box. So as you can see, I did get the steering servo mounted. It's raised up on this block, and that is so that I could get the steering arm super short. The reason it's so short is so that I can get the most amount of torque output from this servo as possible. I'm gonna change it, I think. I'm gonna make it a little bit taller. This just isn't in a super happy spot. It doesn't turn as much as I need. I need a little bit more throw out of that. So I'm gonna work on that. The steering servo turned out pretty good, except for, again, the hole I drilled too low. It really needs to be, the whole box needs to be lifted about 1/2 of an inch. That's the real solution that I want to get to. So I'm probably gonna get a new box made and raise the whole box up 1/2 an inch and then remake it without this wooden block here to raise this servo, and so that there isn't a kink in the throttle arm like this to make it all line up. I've got this block that goes inside the box to absorb water if water were to get inside the box. Luckily, even with the boat pretty much sinking, it sank all the way to here, and this was all that was sticking out of the water was the nose, and the box still just had barely any water in it at all, and the sponge absorbed everything. So that I'm really grateful for. Still got some stuff to do. I have some more sharpening to do on the turn fins, and some more holes to open up here in the back. I'm going to open these up more for more heat escapage. And that's it. Okay, for all that said, I'm really happy with how the boat came out. It races awesome. It's super fast. It's super planted in the water. I'm still going through some prop testing, and I'm still, working on a lot of aspects of the boat. Still going to make some changes to it, but that wraps up the build video for the Rico 58-inch Superboat. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, tell me what you liked. Tell me what you didn't like so I know what to do for the next one. This will not be my last boat, and, I will probably record another build. I hopefully will do a better job of the next one. When I redo the radio box, I'm going to try to record that and do a better job of that so that you guys can see the whole process of what goes into building a radio box, mounting it all up, etc. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Please leave some comments, leave a like, and hit that notification bell. Thanks.